right, well, this is our August monthly Hope 1111 project webinar. So as you know, we're going to be doing, so today is 8/8, next month will be 9/9, then the next month will be 10/10, and then in November will be our culmination of this project on 11/11 at 11/11 Mountain Time, or 1/11 Eastern Time, is when we are looking to have a large gathering of people doing the meditation together that we're going to be doing in a little bit together. So these are practice sessions to allow our bodies to get used to the frequencies and to allow you to add and supercharge the frequencies that we're sending out. The nervous system is not used to these high frequencies that we use in the Hope meditation. And so the more you can do the meditation, the more powerful your part will be on 11/11. And so that's one of the reasons we're doing these monthly meditations, for us to get together so that we can feel the amplification of that frequency together and keep practicing. So it's really awesome that, you guys are showing up and coming here and doing them with us. Because it really is a powerful and amplifying experience. For those of you who don't know us, I don't know if there's a few names that I don't recognize, so just wanted to quickly introduce us. My name is Kirsten Liegman, and this is my hubby.
Ready?
Ready. And we are what we're calling ambassadors of a new humanity, but really what we're starting to hone in on is, there's always this question of who is the new humanity, and really it's people who have come here and seeing what is going on in the world. They understand that the way humans are living on Earth is coming to culmination. We're running up against the consequences of how humans have lived on Earth, and we are the group that is looking for a sustainable world, a kind world, a just world, where we interact with each other with respect and unconditional love, and so that is really who the new humanity is. But there's one thing that binds us all together, the new humanity, and that is this notion that has been crystallizing for us probably over the last half year, more and more and more, and that is that we are here to wake up 100%. So I know there's in spiritual traditions and in a lot of belief systems this notion of awakening. And a lot of us, pretty much probably everyone who's on this call, has been in some form of seeking personal growth, seeking spiritual development, looking for maybe even enlightenment or ascension. But there is something about waking up, awakening. And so what has happened for us is that the elements of what it means to be awake 100%. So rather than being in a vague place of, yeah, we want to awaken, well, what does awaken mean? No, there's now the information in the world that tells us exactly what it means to wake up 100%. And we have this label for it, Awake 100. So the new humanity is here to take what really is a sleepwalking species. We are in our brains pretty much 24/7, thinking, and not present, and that means we're asleep. And we are run by what we're calling our residual self-image, which is this conglomerate of all the egos that we've created over our lifetimes to manage these lives we've had. You know, and that's what we're run by. And we're kind of, I mean, it's been described as, you know, we're kind of in a preemie ward right now. We're you know, on this life support that is called the brain. The brain is running the show. And so what our attempt is, and there's no guarantee of it, but there is certainly a committed group that is taking what is a mostly sleepwalking species and waking up 100%. Shifting out of our residual self-image, shifting into no thinking, full presence with everything around us, accessing our mind, shutting down the brain, only using the brain when we actually need it, not having it run the show. And so there's very specific elements about what it means to wake up. And so that's who the new humanity is. That's all we are, you know. And so it's really wonderful when you know, to have you guys, you know, dabble with it with us and see, does this call you? Does this excite you, this notion of waking up 100%? And so what we want to do today is, you know, we keep in these different Hope 1111 webinars touching in on different aspects of what it means to wake up 100%. And so we have a masterclass called Call to Evolve Masterclass. It's a group of almost 20 people that are literally, their whole mission is, how do we wake up 100% and just keep making one step at a time towards that and practicing it. And when what did somebody call it, the dredging the swamp happens, you know, and all the emotional debris shows up, how do we deal with that? How do we move through it? How do we choose to feel in any moment, no matter what is going on in the world, right? And so we did a 3-day retreat a few weeks back where we focused in mostly on this notion of how do we become the creators of our reality. Now, we've all, most likely, probably everyone here has done some form of training or education around manifestation. I mean, it's been around for a while, but be it Abraham Hicks, be it The Secret, be it What the Bleep Do We Know, there's been these notions coming in around, okay, there seems to be something about we actually can create our reality, but how the hell do we do it? You know, even with all the training we've had, it would be interesting to know who feels they're absolutely, yep, I got this licked. I am the perfect manifester. I can manifest anything I want. My guess is nobody would raise their hand. And if you do, I'd love to hear about it. Mm-hmm. And the reason being is that, yes, these previous educations have laid some foundation, laid the understanding that there's something about being the observer, and that perception is part of this understanding around manifesting, but that really this goes far deeper and there is a far more complexity. Ultimately, it's simple. When you take manifestation and you take out all of the junk, if you will, manifestation becomes easy and it becomes elegant. But we've got to understand what that junk is. We've got to understand what is the resistance, what is in the way of us becoming the creator, that which is our birthright, you know, and the physics of this universe. The physics of this reality is you should be able to think, there's a time gap, and then receive. That is the simplicity of manifestation. And so what we're tackling now is to clear away all the debris, all the contaminants, all of the emotional junk that is around that is keeping us from accessing that which every single one of you, I promise you, can have access to. And it's just a practice. and a process to get there, and understanding. And so what we decided to do, so as I said, we did a 3-day full-on retreat, just diving into what does it mean to be a manifestor slash creator in this reality, and how can we get there. And there is an element that is supercharging that process, and that's what we're calling co-creating with your authentic self. And Rennie will take some time now and just really dive in and give you some of the nuggets. Obviously, we can't take a 3-day retreat and put it into a half hour talk, but, and I just want to give you a heads up, we decided to take that retreat and put it into a 6-week course that I'm going to talk to you about at the end of this session today. So for those of you who are just ready to go, okay, I want to learn how to do this for real, you know, we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But for right now, you know, Rennie is just going to do a little, you know, drop a few, you know, important understandings. And then we'll do the meditation. And after the meditation, we'll come back and hopefully there's some questions and we can do some back and forth around, you know, what you want to understand more of, and go a little deeper. And then we'll talk about, you know, what may be your next step. So that is what's on doc for today. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift out of the picture so I can manage. There's a chat function that you guys have, as well as a Q&A function. So feel free to put any questions in already that you have. You can use either of the two, whichever you're more comfortable with. And, you know, we'll either address them before the meditation or right after. So, okay, I think that is it for now. So I'm going to do a quick exit stage left here.
I'm going to share a perspective now that isn't really what deep down we're all hoping. I mean, I think deep down we're all hoping that the pandemic will, you know, as the president said, it just go away, or that there'll be a vaccine, and, you know, and then the economy will come back and we'll return to our civilization. So it's not my point of view. And I'm not here to make an argument. I'm not presenting a new philosophy. You know, what happened to me was I moved to the bottom of the Grand Canyon for a 5-day retreat in the mid-1990s. And the 5 days came and went, and I realized that whatever reason there was for me to be at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, I was not finished yet. So I stayed. And so, you know, a week turned into months, and months turned into years. And, you know, about 4 years, I came and went, but the Grand Canyon was my home. So, you know, some of you have done this before. You've gone off on meditation retreats for maybe, well, if you tried to be quiet with no thinking, not talk to anyone for, say, 12 days, I mean, it really can be a life-changing event. And so to basically be in that state for, you know, longer than 12 days, you know, is where I'm coming from. I, you know, discovered many things when I was quiet. And one of the things that I discovered was that time and space is not the natural order of things. We all are convinced that there's a past, a present, and a future. It gives us a sense that our evolution is progressing. But the natural order of things is actually simultaneity. The past, the present, and the future are all occurring right now in the present moment. It's a really hard concept to get your brain around, I know. So I'll just say that's where I'm coming from. I can go to the future and look from the future back on the present time and see how things actually worked out. So that's where I'm coming from. It's, again, not to make an argument. It's just to say, I'm going to say a few things now, and I wanted you to know why I'm saying these things. So we're not going back to normal. We're in a time like no other. And 2020, the out of balance state of the dark side of the balance in 2020 is greater than any time in human history, more than World War II or World War I or the Spanish Inquisitions or some of the other times when the dark side of the balance was really tilted, you know, out of balance. And so, what it's going to do this year, 2020, is to set up a set of conditions that we'll just call it what to call it, you know, a series of calamities that seem nonstop. The pandemic is a part of it, but it's a lot of diseases coming in. We're not going back to normal at all. From 2022 to 2018 will dwarf what's happening in 2020. We'll forget all about 2020, even though that was a launch plan spot. Uh, so what we have is a group of human beings who, many of you know this or sense this, that before you're born, you create a life plan. And you actually do. And doesn't mean that you're fixed to it. It doesn't mean that you can't change it while you're here. You have free will. But if you basically have a life plan, it tends to just unfold for you and let you interfere with it. So there were roughly 400 million human beings who came into this particular time. That would be 5% of the whole human race. 5% might not sound like a lot of people, but it's really, it's critical mass. It's a lot of people. And they basically understood what I'm saying about the time that's coming. We're going into a time like no other. And before we were born, you know, if you're on this webinar, you're almost certainly involved in this life plan. You came in to basically create the possibility to have a human future, not just have this be the end time for humanity, but to create a leap in evolution. So the plan was to basically go from, I mean, we're currently in a stage of evolution that I would call awake. We're trying to wake up, you know, and this is by far the hardest stage of all. After awake comes aware, then comes conscious, then comes intelligence, then comes supreme intelligence. We have an eternity in front of us. But right now, on average, this is an average, human race is about 5 to 6% awake as an average. And so there are 400 million people in this world who realize that for the human race to have a future at all, we've got to jump from 5% awake to 100% awake in one lifetime. There's never been a generation that's even attempted anything of this magnitude. And quite frankly, there's no guarantee that anybody will do it. It does require new information. You know, it's the how to do this is not just like, let's look to our traditions, let's look to our religions, let's look to our new age spiritual practices. There's nothing wrong with any of those. I'm not being critical of any of them. I'm just saying that there is a specific know-how to fully wake up. And that know-how is now in the world. And what Kirsten and I are doing is basically trying to put it together so it's understandable and available and make it available to people. I mean, the master class that we're working with is a small group, 20 people or so, that are truly profoundly changing right before our eyes. We're seeing it work. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying there's a know-how that is critical to do this. But for the time that's coming, the 2022 to 2018 period, this know-how is just invaluable. So, you know, one of the things is we all have free will and we get to choose. So we can basically choose to lament the fall of humanity, and that appears to be occurring. just, I mean, the dark side of the balance, we'll call it, is on fire, and it's not going to be getting better. There actually is a reason for the Beirut bombing and the collapse of the economy and this pandemic, and quite honestly, every single issue and every single human challenge has actually one reason, and that reason is 5% awake. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any stage of awareness. In the eyes of evolution, 5% awake is a dramatic achievement, but it creates a density that draws in harsh lessons. So as you worry and you fret and you stress and you go into fear, you basically increase your density. And density begets harsh lessons. And we've come to a level of density that is going to be bringing harsh lessons into the world. However, if you wanted to jump to awake, you don't even actually have to go all the way to 100% to do this. You, at 75% awake, you are in a new world. First of all, you can walk through this world with ease and grace, and even as the earth rebalances and regenerates herself, you're always in the right place at the right time. Your whole being is flowing. You can act, you discover that you don't have to be depressed. You have free will, and you can choose how you want to feel. And so to have tools and practices that show you how to go from despair to just an ecstatic state of being, in 10 seconds flat, is really profound. I mean, it's really beautiful. So there is a world of new information that we're, freely trying to get out to whoever feels drawn to it. That's all. And one of the pieces of this is this particular meditation, the Hope meditation. This meditation is profound. Yes, it's subtle. It's the lightest energy in existence, but it's the only energy in this galaxy that is impervious to fear. So energy can be compressed by thought. And that's how fear is made. You take the energy, say, of joy, compress it with your thoughts, worry, stress, fear, and basically you compress it into the energy of fear. That's how it works. But there's one energy, you can sit there all day long and fret and stress and try to press this thing and get it back into fear, and it is impervious to fear. And we discovered this. It's not in our galaxy. There is a central sun that really does exist. This is not just, any science fiction at all. It really is there. And it's radiating this, it's beautiful to behold. It looks like a diamond faceted planet, it's just gorgeous. And the frequency of it is just beautiful. So being able to travel with your mind through interstellar space, it became possible to record this frequency, bring it back to the earth, record it in a very high professional studio because it's so subtle. And that's what you have in this Hope meditation. This frequency right now, we have it circling the globe at the equator, just below the stratosphere. And it's not that fear isn't rampant, but we're able to balance and protect life by balancing the fear of this planet with this frequency, because this is the only frequency that's impervious to fear. And these are big statements, I'm aware, but we just keep inviting you to keep working with this, because if you spend time with this frequency and this meditation over time, you're going to see it's going to, let's say that you went through some abusive times when you were 3 or 4 years old. And it's really difficult to dig that out with processing. It's there, but how do you get free of it? Well, this frequency will basically, over time, remove the childhood abuses that occurred when you were 4 years old. and it basically removes ego parasites through your whole body, including in your brain over time. And it's just a gift. I mean, it's going to probably take centuries for the human race to realize the magnitude of this discovery. It's in this meditation, and there it is. So if you wanted to basically step into a new world of manifestation, where basically you just you just go where you feel good, and you basically have a desire which feels good, and so you follow what feels good, and you're in a state of being where basically your desire does have a time gap, but it's shorter now. And from your desire, think, you receive. And you have the power of non-resistant thought in you. This is a big deal. I mean, to have the power of non-resistant thought in you. I mean, think about what it is we really do when we start a new project. We're excited. We want to do this. This is a desire that feels good. But almost immediately we step into Murphy's Law, which is anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And so we start to make our business plan thinking about all things that can go wrong. And we make a list of everything, and we worry about all things that go, and we don't have the money, and it just goes on and on and on. And so what we do is basically, we don't have non-resistant thought. We have total resistance to what we desire, and we basically defeat our own project. I mean, we get everything ready, and then it blows up at the starting gate. I mean, over and over again. And so it's not that there's not information about how to do this, but the level of elegance and clarity and frequencies that go with this, that's what's here, and that's what's available. And that's why this really is manifestation on a new level, on a level that works, on a level that's incredible. And given that we're in an age of extinction for real, and given that hard times are coming with lots of misery, it's just so inspiring to realize that you can create your own reality inside of a larger reality of hysteria. You can basically always be at the right place at the right time. You can manifest your dreams because you have the free will. And it's the law. The law of free will gives you the right to choose how you want to feel. But you need to know how. There are some tools and practices that are needed to basically take this step. So this meditation, honestly, is a gift to the human race. It has the ability to prevent the human race from basically moving into World War III come 2022. And that is why getting your friends and your neighbors and anybody who's in your circle to basically give it a try, spend time with this. I mean, so right away you feel its beauty, but if you spend time with this and start doing this every day, it's going to change you. This is an energy that is impervious to fear. Imagine in a world that is just completely on fire with fear, you were utterly 100% impervious to fear. And that's what this meditation is. That's what you're doing. But a few more practices, tools, and understandings to reinforce the whole thing, so you could be a part of that 400 million people that came in here to jump from 5% awake to 100% awake in one lifetime and literally create the future of the human race. That's what this is about. Okay, we're a small group now, but we know how to show people how we did it through our dream state. 400 million people don't know how to do it. But here, there is the know-how for how to do it. And so I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it's really possible. Yeah. One of the things that we discovered in this vast world of new information is the genetics. The genetics are not really grasped by our current science. For example, in our genetics, there is a genetic blueprint of what you could be if you choose it. So here's the law of free will. You got to choose it. You got to choose to go from 5% awake to 100% awake. No one can make you do it. Only you can choose it. But your genetics lays out the answer to the age-old question, who am I? It really does. And so here you are a hybrid. This is your genetics speaking now. You are a hybrid species consisting of one intelligent entity that's been with you since the dawn of your existence, a second intelligent entity that's been with you since the dawn of your existence, and a source of life that has no awareness at all. It's in your stomach region, but it's generating the life material itself. I mean, the human being is an incredible design, and it's completely undiscovered who we are really. So what we've discovered is that I'm going to call one of these entities, the beings, your authentic self, to give it a name. So your authentic self has a frequency, and to touch that frequency just takes your breath away. It's not that it's never happened before. I mean, Pascal, his whole body turned into light, and Walt Whitman wrote about an experience he had where he touched his authentic self and it transformed his life. I mean, there's many, there's mystics through history that have touched the authentic self. But this work here is basically developing the ability to make your inner being your authentic self. And it changes everything in manifestation to do it. It changes everything. Okay, so basically you have a thought, and now you've got this intelligent being. Remember I said the stages of evolution: awake, aware, conscious, intelligent. Okay, so intelligence is down the road, okay? And your authentic self is intelligent. And so now you have your inner being is your authentic self, which is intelligent, giving you knowingness about anything in which you are curious. And we're here to show you how to do this. Okay, this is not an academic exercise. This is a real deal to actually experience your inner being as this intelligent being that guides you. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole new guidance system. And basically you have knowingness about everything in which you're curious. I mean, you come to a crossroads and you wonder what's the future. You can see around corners, you can see the future. You have access to simultaneity because your inner being is your authentic self. And so you can co-create the future of the human race by basically making your inner being the authentic self that you've always been, and the magnificent that you are now becoming. For real, you can do this. And people are doing this. Okay, I mean, we're not just on a theory basis. We see this with people that we work with, and we are, excited to. I mean, we're not trying to promote, market. We're not marketing at all. We don't understand marketing. We just are who we are, and we have this gift that we give to anybody who really is drawn to want to find out more. It's pretty much that simple. We understand how to solve every issue, every problem, every challenge on this planet by basically jumping from 5% to 100% awake and making our authentic self, this intelligent being that's been with us since day one, our inner being. So we co-create with the intelligence of the universe. The intelligence that could create a solar system is available to us right now on this planet during this age of extinction. So that's what's up here.
Okay, let me just come back in here.
I
wanted to go. So I wanted to bring this down to a level where you guys can feel what Rennie is talking about, because there is such a profoundness in what he's saying, in shifting from the manifestation 1.0 or 2.0 to manifestation 100.0. I mean, it's that profound of a difference that we're talking about. And so let's do a little bit of a practice for a sec. So I want you to think about something that you really want, that's something that you want to manifest in your life. Now be careful, don't go into, well, I don't want this. So we tend to not reach for that which we want, but we want to push away that which we don't want, right? So really think about something that and make it an easy one. Don't make it a big, massive thing right now. This is just for practice purposes right now. So something that you would like in your life. You want a dog. You want a beautiful flower garden. You want a partner. Something that you can feel into. And just note if it's really hard for you to come up even with something that you desire. There's a lot of resistance and guilt and unworthiness that gets wrapped up into this whole notion of desiring something. So if you're sitting here going, I don't know what I want, just observe that as well. Don't beat yourself up. This is one of the things about waking up 100% is that you become the observer of yourself. When you can see yourself 100%, you can wake up 100%. So you want to just observe what's there. If it's hard for you to come up with something that you desire, just observe that and go, oh, interesting. I wonder, and then scan if you can find the resistance in yourself. But so pick something easy that, if that is even something you could get next week, and then just now feel it. So let yourself imagine receiving this thing that you want, but let yourself feel it. More than getting to the details of it, you want to feel it. What does it feel like to have, I'm going to use the example of you want a dog. You really want a dog. So you imagine wanting this dog and you feel what it feels like to have this dog, to play with this dog, to touch it, to know its tail and its soft ears and its sweet nose. You just let yourself, so whatever it is that you are imagining, let it bubble up in you as a feeling, okay? And I know a lot of you know this step, so just stay with me. Just let it come up. Feel it, feel it, feel it to the strength that you possibly can, okay? And now, just take the step like, yes, I am getting this. Take the statement, I always get what I want. I can receive this. And as you say this, notice if there's any resistance that immediately came in, any doubt like, yeah, well, it won't happen because I don't live in the right place. I don't have the funds right now. I don't create like that. Just notice immediately and this is what we're calling resistant thought, immediately shows up that stops the process. Just notice it and scan yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just scan yourself. Notice where the contraction is. Notice where that contraction is. Just observe it. Oh, interesting, interesting. I doubt, you know, that like a resistant thought. Oh, I doubt I can create this thing, this dog in my reality. Wow, interesting. Oh, look at all the reasons why I don't think I can have it. Just notice. That is where we short circuit our ability to manifest. And it's a catch-22 in some way, because when we doubt, we short circuit, but we don't believe we can get it, so we doubt. So we, you know, so there's this short circuiting that happens that is almost a catch-22. And so the step of stepping out of resistant thought, for one, it requires these frequencies to get into the nooks and crannies of your being, where all these thought contaminants and emotional contagions, that basically is what these are. These resistant thoughts are these contagions and ego parasites that are sitting all throughout your body. These frequencies, the frequency in the hope meditation is like a laser beam that finds those thought contaminants and dissolves them, lets them go. And so that is a huge tool. So when we go into the meditation right now, what I invite you to do is to take the frequency when we bring it in and literally douse the area where you notice where your contraction is, be it in the solar plexus, be it in the heart, anywhere in the body where you felt the immediate, like, well, I can't have what I want because, and just let the frequency dissolve it, let it wash it away, and stay with it, and let it do the work. This is not about processing and understanding why you went into doubt, what messages you got as a kid or whatever. This is not processing. This is saying, I know when I have a resistant thought, there's an ego, and there's ego parasites, and this is an emotional contagion, and I am taking charge of my being, my inner being now, and I'm going to just wash it away. I'm going to clear the way to create a direct, easy, and elegant path to manifest the life that I choose. And there is this element of risk. See, we use doubt as a way to protect ourselves mostly from shame and embarrassment that we can't manifest. So first, we don't allow ourselves to want because we might be embarrassed or ashamed that we can't create it. And then we create doubt, which feels rational. Doubt can feel rational. And we put it in there, again, to protect ourselves from that shame and that embarrassment of not being able to create. So it takes the risk to say, I am willing to get rid of these resistant thoughts, these contaminations, to clear the way so that I can be in total flow, in total ease, and total elegance on a direct path to manifestation. Now, manifestation in this reality, normally it's thought done. In the universe, it's thought done. But if we as humans had thought done, meaning you have the think and it's right here, we would destroy this reality. We would rip it apart with our unworthiness and our emotional egos. This reality would not survive thought done, which is why there is a time gap. And it's a pretty long time gap on average. You know, what is it, 20 years, something like that? Generally, it's a 20-year time gap just to protect you from destroying yourselves with a thought of unworthiness. But as you wake up more and more and more, that time gap shrinks more and more. Now, it's never going to become thought done in this mass of matter reality. Not while we're, still only at the stage of awake, okay? That's when we get into aware and conscious and intelligent, that's when we can learn to contain thoughts until they're ready to be released. But we don't have that ability right now. And so here, the time gap, I mean, the best we can probably do is about 3 months. That's as tight as you can get this time gap, and anywhere between 3 months and 20 years. So you've got to be willing to let yourself have the patience and the commitment to keep the feeling state of that which you want up front and center. Like, do it every day. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Know when there's doubt, know when there's a resistant thought, and take the frequency and dissolve it. And it's a practice again and again and again until that path is completely cleared. And you might be able to create some little magic things, you know, that come faster through this process. But that is what it'll take to become a master manifester in this reality. And then you bring in this authentic self, your authentic self, as your inner being. I mean, you have an inner being right now. Choosing your authentic self to be your inner being then supercharges that whole process even more. So it's an incredibly powerful thing. And I mean, I hope you get that we're right now, we're literally skimming the surface of what this is. I mean, there is so much depth to us, and there's so much experiential practice with this that you know, just let yourself be open to this possibility that it is possible to create, no matter what your life looks like right now. If your life looks like, you know, super challenged, and you're like, there is no way I can create something right now, notice and observe that. That's a resistant thought that is gonna keep you from stepping out into a different reality, the reality that you choose to create. You know, we played a lot with some of this tagline of, you know, how to create the life you love, how to create the life you want. But if you notice, we're using the word how to create the life you choose, because ultimately that's what it comes down to. Once you clear out all of these thought contaminants, once you make the path easy, ultimately being 100% awake is about 100% choice, where you take responsibility for every single thing that you experience in your life. You do not blame or give reward, give benefit to anybody else. This is your choice, your creation. Now, you may draw other people into your experience, but it's still your choice to create that. And so therefore, that's why we say, you know, how to create the life you choose. You have got to know what you want to choose. Do you want to choose staying in doubt? Do you want to choose staying in resistance? Do you want to choose staying in pain and misery? Or do you actually want to choose a life that is filled with joy, that is filled with expansion, that is filled with awe and wonder, no matter what's going on in the world, and not letting guilt for feeling good while others are suffering be a resistant thought either? That's a misunderstanding of how this reality works. So I just wanted to add some of those things. So, all right, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to do the meditation right now, and we'll take a 5-minute break just so everybody can, you know, get themselves comfortable. And then we'll come back and we'll do the meditation, and this time really use the frequency to go in and flush out any resistant thought that you just were able to identify, and stay with it. So for me, a lot of resistant thought shows up in the solar plexus area, which is right above the stomach, or right where the stomach is. I can feel when I go still into any kind of resistant thought, that's often where that tweak, that contraction, that slight acidity, however it manifests for you in your body, that's where it sits for me. But some of you may be feeling it in your heart, or a lot of my coaching clients have throat issues. So just, be aware where that contraction is. Pick one spot and just see what happens when you have pure focus during the meditation on that spot, as you know that frequency is coming in and it's dissolving it. Remember, perception is your superpower. So you want to have your focus there. I want to just take a moment to talk about this course that we put together based on that, masterclass retreat that we did. We felt it was such a powerful experience that we wanted to make it available to a broader audience. And so we took all of the concepts and took the most important nuggets out of it and put it into this course that I'd like to take a moment to just introduce to you. So let me just screen share here. So we're calling this course Manifestation at the Highest Level: How to Create the Life You Desire and Choose. And as you just heard me talk, choosing is such an important part of the manifestation process. You can't just focus on what you desire. You have to actually choose it. And by choosing it, you're then committed to removing the thought contaminants and the emotional debris that is in the way, that short circuits your directest path to creating what you want. So it has to be a deep, deep inner choice. And so this course will address that as well. So what you will learn and practice in this Manifest at the Highest Level course that we put together. So first of all, you're going to understand the complete picture of how to manifest in this reality. So as you hopefully got, there is a complexity that needs to be understood in order to step into the simplicity and the ease and the elegance of manifesting in this reality. And so we're going to lay it all out so that you fully understand all of the details of how to manifest. Now, what we can't do is guarantee that you will do it. That depends on you. Will you do the work? Will you commit to practicing and using the meditations that you have to wash away that emotional debris and the ego parasites? So this is a co-creative endeavor, but we will lay out the full picture of how to manifest in this reality and how to create the beautiful and elegant story that you desire, no matter what's going on in the world. See, right now, I mean, with 2020 being as crazy as it has been, and no letting up, and it likely getting worse over the next few years, there's this belief that, well, I have to hold on. I'm in this roller coaster. I'm strapped in. I'm holding on for dear life. And once this is all over, then I'll get back to focusing on manifesting and such. And that's a misunderstanding. What you want to work on is to create the story you want to experience right now, no matter what's going on in the world. You're creating your own reality within the larger reality. That is what we are focusing on, and that's what it means to wake up 100%. And so you also will learn how to manifest without pushing and shoving. I call myself a recovering German. And I learned really well how to push and shove and make things happen. But the problem is, and yeah, I made things happen, but the problem is it also manifested itself with pain and discomfort in my body. And that tends to happen to a lot of people. The stress, the worry, the anxiety that comes with pushing and shoving and forcing manifests itself in ways in our bodies that we don't want. So this is about learning how to do it without pushing and shoving, how to purge yourself of thought contaminants and emotional memories that block your ability to manifest with ease. So we talked about that, and using frequencies as a support function with that, how to peel away the layers of resistance to gain control over your responses to life events. So how do you choose to respond to no matter what's coming at you is one of the key factors here. Do you go into hysteria? Do you go into worry? Do you go into fear when life comes, quote unquote, at you? Or do you choose to respond differently? And that's part of the manifestation process. How to make awe and wonder, not fear and doubt, your state of being, and how to experience your authentic self as your co-creative partner in life. So that's just the most important parts of what you're going to get in this course, but there is so much more that you'll be getting. So the course pattern is that it's a 6-week course. So there will be 5 online classes plus, and I'm really excited about this. So as I said, we did this at a 3-day retreat. We started on a Thursday evening, all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. So we were embedded and fully immersed in the experience of this retreat. And that helped shift our state of being, open us up, expand us so that we could let in the frequencies and let in the understanding. And so what we decided to do with this course is to make the 5th webinar, the 5th online class, an all-day retreat. And to me, that is one of the key things, so that we can get you fully infused into that state of being, so that you start experiencing what we're talking about. And so over the course of the 6 weeks, again, you will have the foundation and key understandings of manifestation, the role of resistant thought, the importance of presence, no thinking, how to start co-creating with your authentic self. This is your most awesome ally. And then of course you're going to get live coaching and support during the classes, and dedicated practice time, and as I said, so much more. So it's going to be a Sunday course, and we decided to do it on a Sunday so that you had time after webinars to stay in the frequencies, to give yourself practice time right away, rather than having to rush to, your job or, into go, do. So we decided to do it Sunday so you had the spaciousness to fully be in the experience. And then of course there is the full day retreat on September 27th. So we're starting August 30th, and then for 6 weeks. So the last webinar will be on August 4th. And there will be a group space for communication and questions. It'll likely be a Facebook group. And this is a hands-on course. So, you need to come committed to practice. So if you want a course where we just download information to you and then you take that information and set it on a, shelf in a binder, that's not what this course is. This is about understanding the details of what it means to truly manifest, and then to practice throughout the week, fully practice. So if you want to do this course with us, you need to come committed to taking the time to practice it and embed it into your life. So it's not about, taking, 24/7, setting and not doing anything else, but as you go through your day, to practice what we introduce, so that each webinar each week can build on itself, and then on the 1-day retreat really lock it in. So this course is so precious to Rennie and I, and is such a sacred topic that the way we're going to do this is that if you are interested in being part of this course, we would like you to email us. Rather than having everybody just go and sign up, we want to talk to you. We want this to be a mutual conversation and a mutual agreement that it makes sense for you to be part of this course. And so the email is up on your screen, newhumanity@ffh.org, like frankhouse.org. So if you're interested, email us at that email address, and you will then get a little bit more information, and we will set up a time for us to talk so that we can then talk about, does this make sense for you? Does this feel good to you to make this as a next step? And to talk about the exchange. Yes, we have an exchange for this, but I will work with you if you really want to be there. So those are some of the things we will be addressing on that call, but we want to be able to talk to you, feel your commitment, feel how you want to show up in this, and then we'll make a decision together. So again, email us at newhumanity@ffh.org. And and then look out for an email back and next steps. And I promise you, this course is absolutely out of this world. And so what I would like to just quickly do, and this is going to be really brief, but there is one person from our course that that agreed to come and speak to what her experience was when we did the 3-day retreat and how powerful of a moment that was for her. So Glennie, you are you are allowed to speak now. So if you could unmute yourself.
Should I start my video?
That would be great. It would be great for people to see.
Sure. Yeah. So, hi. I wanted to tell you, professionally, I was a psychotherapist and a group facilitator. And back in the early 2000s, all those people that Kirsten spoke about, the Abraham and Esther Hicks, and The Secret, and What the Bleep Do We Know, I was very involved with all of that and actually facilitated manifesting courses with small groups. And so I considered myself a pretty good manifester. I have a really nice life that I like a lot. And so last month when we did this retreat, I was kind of questioning what new was I going to experience that I wasn't already doing. And I have to tell you, I want to share the experience I had yesterday because it'll give you an understanding of what the difference is. I retired, so my office, which is here in my house, has become an art studio, and I began painting. And last summer when we were here, that conversion occurred. And this summer when we came back, nothing was really right in there. It wasn't set up properly. And so I began to move things around and kind of feel what would feel right for my artistic creative nature. And last week when I was in there painting, I recognized that it wasn't feeling good. It was feeling cluttered. It just didn't feel good. And yesterday I went in and painted again, and without even thinking about it, I had the thought last week that the space was not the way that I wanted it, but I had no idea about how I wanted it, and nor did I dwell on it. I just kind of set the intention in my mind that this is not working. Yesterday, I went in and started painting, and before I knew it, without thinking, I began to reorganize the studio. And when I was done, I looked back, and it happened with we use the term ease and grace. It happened with such ease and grace, and it felt so good that when I looked around, the feeling that came off of all the things that were around me gave me a sense of groundedness. I realized that I had been connected to authentic self, that I was operating from that space. And of course, that studio brings me into that space. When I walk into that room, I want to be an authentic self. That's who I want to create from. That is my co-creative intention, is to be with, authentic self sitting on the personality seat, and that's who's painting. But yesterday, that's who organized that space. And it was just a brilliant, lovely, wonderful moment. And I realized that that was way beyond anything that I had done before, that the frequencies, that that working with the declarations, working with all the things that we got at the retreat a month ago, and that will be part of this little 6-week course, will open doors for you that you can only barely imagine at this moment.
Nice.
So yeah.
Thank you for that. I mean, really the key thing that little story that Glennie just said is about following what feels good.
Feels good.
Giving yourself the permission to follow what feels good. And that being, so the little pebbles that show the way to your desires. And it's such a powerful understanding, and requires, more and more ability to go into subtleties, more and more subtleties in yourself to understand what feels good. Oh, this feels good. No, this doesn't feel good. I'm going this way, no matter what my egos or my brain want to tell me. And again, that requires that trust to follow what feels good, because it sometimes may not logically be the right, feel right, but or seem right, but it does, there's something in you that feels right. And so that's one powerful element of this process. So really appreciate that. Did you want to add anything?
I think that's great. Really good.
Okay.
It was just a little story, but it felt so good.
I love it. That was
no.
perfect. Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah, thanks.
So again, if you feel drawn to deepen this work with us, let yourself feel it, and without any resistant thought, get rid of any resistant thought about, I don't have the time, I'm not good enough, I don't have the money, those are all resistant thoughts at the moment. I mean, I laid it, as simply as I could, saying, I will work with you, we will work with you if you want to show up. So if it feels good for you to join us at this course, then email newhumanity@ffh.org, and we will get into communication, and we will get on the phone together, and we will figure out how to, assist you, and whether it makes sense for you to do this course with us. So, okay, thank you all for those of you who stuck around for this long. I know this was a long webinar, but I hope it was absolutely wonderful for you, and that you can feel right now, just check in with yourself. How did you feel before you came on? How do you feel now? Is there a change? Did the meditation shift you? This is all about choosing how you feel. So, and being aware of how you feel. So with that, I wish you all an incredible rest of your Saturday. Follow what feels good. Let yourself just be, in a beautiful space. And for those of you who are interested in coming along with us, I will talk to you probably this coming week. So you are so welcome, Sandra. And with that, much love to you all. Take care, everybody.